everybody. Welcome to the Dear Future Pioneers podcast. My name is Carissa Munoz, and I'm going to be your host. And today we're recording the first episode of Dear Future Pioneers for the student ambassadors. So today we have two senior student ambassadors here with us, Juliana and Sam. So thank you guys for coming.
Of course.
Full disclosure, we already recorded this episode, and sometimes life happens, but we grow from these experiences, and we are still going to give you a great episode, and I appreciate them for sticking with me and providing some content for you guys. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves to the people.
Hi everyone, I'm Juliana. I'm from Long Island. I'm a senior admissions assistant within the Student Ambassador Program, and I'm majoring in communications, advertising, and public relations. And I'm graduating in a few weeks.
Hi everyone, I'm Samantha, and I'm a senior admissions assistant just like Juliana, and I'm an accounting and business economics major. And other than being a student ambassador program, I am involved in Women in Business Network, and I'm from East Fishkill, New York.
Amazing. So before Sam and Juliana give some of their experiences, I just wanted to give a brief overview from the Sacred Heart website about what the student ambassadors are, if you've never heard about student ambassadors. So Sacred Heart University's website describes the student ambassadors of having the unique job to promote Sacred Heart through their passion for the university by inspiring others to be a part of the school community by enrolling for admissions. So essentially, student ambassadors are that first kind of presence that you guys will be meeting when you come onto Sacred Heart, and vice versa. You guys are the first people that families and students will get to be able to interact with, which is really, really fun. So how did you get involved with student ambassadors? When you came into Sacred Heart, what was appealing about the student ambassadors progress and program?
So my work study position freshman year was a room guide, which is the person who sits in the room while the tours come in and shows the dorm rooms off to the families. So I sat in the room and I kind of just sat there at my desk while the tour guide brought the families in, and I really liked student ambassadors from that. That was kind of my first interaction with the program. So I was like, wow, that'd be really cool to be a tour guide and take them around campus. So that's how I heard of it on campus. But even before that, I would go on tours when I was going on college tours, and I'd be like, oh my god, that's so cool, I want to be a tour guide, I want to do that. And my family was like, you have to do that, you'd be so good at that. So I kind of had it in the back of my head, but that's how I found out about it on campus. And then I applied during COVID, and then I started my sophomore year giving tours.
So I'd always known that I wanted to be a tour guide, but I did not know that student ambassadors was a tour guide. So when applications had came out my freshman year, I had ignored them, and then I did not apply till my sophomore year. So when those came out, I applied, went through the process, and I became one my junior year.
Amazing. So what does a typical event for a student ambassador look for you guys? So I know there are additional tours that individual student ambassadors will give out, but what other events do you guys kind of involve yourself with on campus?
So we have regular weekday tours, so that's tours throughout the week, different times throughout the day, and we have different ambassadors on shift for those different tours. And then we have regular tours on the weekends at 2 different times on some certain Saturdays and Sundays. And then for our events in the fall, we do our open house events. So those are kind of just for students either coming for the first time to Sacred Heart or just want a better idea of it just for a regular event. So you didn't have to have applied or gotten in or anything. That's for anyone. So that's in the fall. And then our version of that in the spring is our admitted student days. So that's for students who were admitted to Sacred Heart and they're coming again for a second, third look, and they can actually commit to Sacred Heart that day. We also have celebration days. So that's the week of decision week, May 1st. We do that. It's a really fun event. There's food trucks, and it's a big celebration of coming to Sacred Heart, so those are really fun. So I would say that's our overall events, and then we have select events for different majors. So we have Welch Wednesdays, which is for our business program over at the West Campus, certain nursing sessions, different programs specific to your major.
We have Pioneer Pride Day, which showcases our athletics, so they actually get to go on a tour and then after attend a football game or a basketball game, so those are cool.
That's fun. I didn't know that you could do that. I know that some people do, and this might be in athletics as well, the students that sign to be on a athletics team will come and do a mini tour, but being able to come in and know that you're also seeing a football game or anything along those lines, being in the student body without actually being enrolled.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, it is.
I feel that's very unique too, because I don't think I've ever had a school offer that. as like
Yeah.
I think they're new this year because I don't remember doing
No, I
those
think it
last
is,
year.
yeah.
But I think it is a good idea.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So being a part of the Student Ambassadors program, I know that you had both already mentioned kind of when you got involved with it, talking about kind of seeing the most interesting parts of the job. So do you remember kind of, we've talked about training before, so do you kind of want to give like an idea of what training looks like after you apply to Student Ambassadors and get through that program of being able to then prepare to go on tours?
So training pretty much consists of a bunch of bonding activities because you can't be in this program without being able to get along with everybody. So it's a lot of like icebreakers. I know people usually hate those, but they're a lot.
They're like fun
so
icebreakers.
Fun. Yeah, they're fun icebreakers, games, and then we just do a million tours a day, just making sure that's hammered into everyone's
Yes.
brain, like the root. We have meals every day. It's just a really good time.
Yeah, like activities like off campus, like just a lot of fun, like getting to know each other and like being together like before anyone's on campus. Like we're like the only people on campus and like other programs that have to do their training too, but it's a good time.
That's fun. And talking about like learning how to do tours, like can you describe what your first tour looked like after you went through training and kind of got into the new year and had new students coming in?
So for some of the new people, they do shadowing. So if you like haven't gone on your first tour yet, you can shadow a returning ambassador that has been doing it, and you kind of just like observe them, and you can like help answer questions, things like that, but just to get a better feel for it since before you're kind of like thrown to the wolves on your own. But yeah, you can't really. I shadowed one tour before I went on, and then I was so nervous for my first tour because I was supposed to shadow again, but they didn't have enough tour guides that day, so I kind of just like was thrown into it like unexpected, and I was so nervous. I was like, I would have prepared better. Like even before that, I like remember like having the script open, and I was like, oh, JP's, like I was like going through all the information, but it ended up being great. Like I was so nervous, but like after that I was like, okay, like I'm glad I did this. Like I really like it. I'm excited. So
yeah, so my experience was a bit different than Juliana's because I never got to shadow anybody. My first tour was just by myself, and it was with a family who their older daughter had already gone here. So as I was telling you guys, they knew everything. They were the smartest people on campus. It was very difficult. But yeah, that was my first tour, but it ended up going really well. I didn't tell them it was my first tour until I was already done. And then they were shocked. They were like, we had no idea that you were so good. So that made me feel a lot better. But that was my first one.
Yeah. And then we can segue into also the aspect of what your first tour looked like. Because we had talked about this a little bit prior about our first tours. Because I remember my first tour being, I had toured twice, and being able to see Sacred Heart in two different aspects, whether it was the first day was a Sunday, it's the last tour of a weekend for the Connecticut tour area that I was doing as a senior, and being able to still have somebody that's super, super excited, or at least putting on the presence and being super, super excited to see me and my family and the other people that were in that tour, and being able to share their experiences for Sacred Heart. Again, there being literally nobody on campus the first day and still me loving it, and then coming back another day and then being like, okay, I need to go here. What did your first experiences of Sacred Heart look like from the student ambassadors that had given you your tour?
So my first tour was a good tour. I remember my ambassador, it was really nice, but I kind of was very overwhelmed at the time because I, just like you, I'd seen other schools in Connecticut, and I was just overwhelmed, like going through it, very stressed. So I didn't really have that like instant connection to the campus, but I knew that I liked it. It was definitely like not to be like canceled out. So I applied, and then I came back in the spring for another visit. So I came for an admitted students day to like kind of like see if I liked it again. I was like doing my like second round of visits. So once I came for that, that's when I had that moment. I was like, yes, I love this school. Everyone was so nice, so welcoming. It was raining, like pouring, but all the students were so nice. They were so willing to like help me out, like answer all my stupid questions, like show me the dorm rooms, like really anything that I needed. And it was just like a great day. So at that event, I like put down my deposit. I was like, I'm going here, like no more stress. And like I remember that drive home, like we had just went to the bookstore. I was wearing my Sacred Heart sweatshirt. I got the little teddy bear with the shoe shirt. I was like, I'm the coolest ever. So like that was just like a very like good moment, good day.
Yeah, Sacred Heart was the last place I toured. I'd done all my tours already, and my mom was like, it's only an hour away, so let's just go check it out. You know, she wants to keep me close to home. I was like, I don't want to go, but I went. And like you, it was like a rainy day, and my tour guide was awesome. We really connected with her, and we've actually had her multiple times after that first tour. but I loved it, and my parents had a complaint about every school that we went. I had a complaint about every school that we went. And then we were in the car on the ride home and everyone was silent. So I'm like, wait, did everyone like this place? I'm like, I think this might be the place for me. And I'm the first of three. I'm the youngest of three, and I'm the first of them to go to college. So this was like the first time for everyone. So obviously I'm their little girl. They're scared of where I'm going to go, but they seriously felt like I was so safe here. And it was just a great location, great place. So yeah.
Sacred Heart definitely has given that persona, and over the years has grown their presence of being a very welcoming and friendly environment. Like everyone that I speak to that has come to Sacred Heart or has interacted with Sacred Heart students always mentions how nice we are.
Right.
And like the very much hold the door open for the person behind you type of vibe. It's not just something we say, like it literally does happen every single day. And I always feel bad if I don't hold the door for someone, because now I'm just like, okay, we have that policy. Like,
even if
I would hold it anyways.
Behind,
I'm like, don't worry, I've got it.
I'm like jogging to the door.
I'm like, thank you so much.
I definitely take pride in that, though. Like knowing that
for sure.
it's not only like that on tour days. It's always like that.
Always like that.
Yeah, very much practicing what you preach around here, I would say. So Juliana had mentioned it before. You guys are both senior admissions involved within the Student Ambassadors program. So do you want to highlight that a little bit for people that don't know what that is?
Yeah, so we pretty much work as like interns in the admissions office. So we oversee tours, we designate what tour guides are taking what families out. We set up before open houses, admitted students days. We pretty much we're that go-to person for the student ambassadors. Like if they don't know what they need to say, they come check with us. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I feel like the families see the ambassadors first, like out in the parking lot, like getting them set up, but like we check them in. So like we're kind of like the first like initial interaction with them. And then we, like Sam was saying, like we pair the students on tour with the student ambassadors and we get that all set up. And then we're basically just like around campus on event days to like make sure everything's running smoothly, just little like supervisors almost, like making sure everything's in check, helping out. So like just making sure like the families are having like a good visit overall.
Yeah. And then how many students would you say are also additionally part of that program, the Student Ambassadors program?
It's about 100 students overall, I would say, give or take. And sometimes they'll do they recruit people in the spring, like at the end of the year. But sometimes if they need more people, they'll do it like at the end of the fall semester, like for the spring. So it kind of like rotates throughout the year. But I would say like well-rounded number is like 100. So it's a big group of people, but that's why it's important to like have those trainings to like get to know everyone and like make sure like you know people's names and like everything like that.
Yeah, and it's definitely such a large group of different people on campus. So you're having people that you maybe have never had class with, never have interacted with, didn't even know them until you joined the program, being able to give their experiences to other people. So like you two don't have the same experience, but the people that you're talking to will get both of those experiences and like broaden their horizons of Sacred Heart as a whole, which is really cool too, because I feel like we're such a diverse like community when it comes to being involved in things and where we're from and the experiences that we've had. So being able to have that on a platform too, as people being able to come in and see Sacred Heart for the first time. It was really cool. So within your time as a student ambassador, talking about, you know, the rewarding aspects of it, any challenging aspects that you've had, what would you say like an experience within both of those have been to kind of one, create your student ambassador's experience, but also how it's impacted yourself outside of Sacred Heart? What would you, I know that's like a loaded question, but where would you say that like the fine line between it being challenging and rewarding has been throughout your time at Sacred Heart?
I think that like for all of the challenges that like we've gone through, like it's been more rewarding than challenging. Like the challenges like make it more rewarding almost. So like we were talking about like earlier how like you have to like kind of like put on like a happy face when you go on a tour if you're having a rough day, like that could be difficult, and like it has been difficult. Like I've gone to like some tours being like, this is gonna be the worst tour I ever give, like I'm in such a bad mood, like I don't want to like make them like not want to go here, like so nervous. But like once you just kind of like get talking with people and like get into it, like you'll come out of that tour being like, okay, like I feel better now, like I was able to still give a good tour, and like kind of like leave that stress at home and like just like be in the moment and like not think about it. It sometimes almost helps because it's like a little distraction. You get to like put on your little show, your little performance, say your corny jokes that you say every time, and it's like a little routine, which I always liked. And so that's definitely been rewarding, to like have that like self like realization that like I can like still like present like a good tour while like not being in the best like of headspace and like come out stronger on the other end. And then I would say like it's definitely like Sam was saying, like her tour guide like made such an impact on her. It's rewarding when that happens, when like you see students on campus that you gave a tour to, or like I was telling you guys that some student wrote me like a note like after my tour saying like that like it was a great tour and they like want to come here, all of that stuff. So like it's so nice when you get that like recognition, and like they send out surveys to the student ambassadors if like a tour guide, or sorry, if a student like leaves a good review of the school. So that's really nice to like get those emails and see that like you did a good job.
Yeah.
So it's something like all your hard work and like all those nights like studying the script, like practicing like in front of your mirror, like has paid off. And then like personally for myself, I would say just like being more outgoing, like being more open, like meeting new people. It's just been so rewarding to like meet people that I would have never met before, getting close with everyone, especially this year, like senior year, the senior admissions assistants got super close. So just like really impacting my college experience like has been great.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Juliana was saying, and I feel like what I'm doing now is going to reflect on what I do for the rest of my life, where you go to work, you can't be in a bad mood, and when you're going to speak to people, like it really helps you learn like when to turn on that like happy face, like you got to get this done, this is work.
Yes.
With also giving like that personal touch. So I feel like that's super important in anything you do in your life, where you don't want to, you know, bring anybody down. So I feel, I agree with everything Juliana said.
Yeah. And just like being able to like talk in front of people and like make such a quick connection with people is super important in any career. So like it's definitely like helped me. Like even when I went to my internship last summer, I was like, I feel so much like better prepared to like talk to people I've never met before, because every tour you're spending an hour or maybe more with people that you've never met before, and you have to like really like try to change their lives almost. Like it sounds dramatic, but like you're really like trying to have an impact on them. So like really like learning how to like present something in a positive light, like make like things look like attractive to the students and like figure out what they like that's very important. So
yeah, definitely. And you might have already touched upon it within your experiences as a student ambassador, but do you have a specific favorite memory as being a student ambassador within the 4 years, and how, like, you know, as a senior reflecting on it, when you think about student ambassadors and when you tell people about student ambassadors like later on, what do you think like that first memory will be?
Well, I just feel like that what's miserable in a time will be my best memory. Setting up for open houses and doing that, like it's so miserable, like walking around with the A-frames, like crashing the U lines on your ankles. But like I'll look back at that and like we're all laughing. Like it's just the bonding with everybody. That's gonna be my best memory of
sure
talking to everyone. Yeah,
like those little moments of like when we get there at 6 a.m. to set up and it's still dark out and
like
it's
rubbing
raining
my eyes.
and the doors are locked to the rooms we need and we're calling public safety. Like it's so bad it's funny, like, and I feel like it'll just be a funny memory because it always works out in the end. We always get it resolved, like we always like figure it out, but it's a good thing.
And it really just brought us all so close.
Oh, for sure.
Things,
Yeah, it's always interesting too, because, you know, we've all had our experiences with student ambassadors, open houses, admissions day, and like seeing it all put together. But then like when you're on the other side of it, like the chaos that does become like hilarious, but like at the same time you're like, oh my God, what's going on? Like being able to have both sides of it is really like funny and also rewarding afterwards too, because you know how much effort everyone has put into giving like the presents for new parents and families to come in. Especially the students too, because you want them to go here. So I think that's really funny.
It's so funny that like people have no idea what just went on for the hour and a half before they got there.
Exactly. Like we're running around in like sweatpants and then we have to like change into our like blazers. It's really a production. Like it's fully a show, which is so funny.
That's so fun. So thinking about student ambassadors too, coming up to graduation and even thinking about the decision to join student ambassadors. I know both of you had mentioned like you wanted to be a tour guide, like even before coming to Sacred Heart, just like seeing other people do tour guide and doing the guides around school. How would you say that being a student ambassador has impacted your Sacred Heart career, like throughout your 4 years being here as a student, as a person, just so, you know, other students can kind of get an idea of the growth that you've gotten from being within the program?
Yeah. I think that it's impacted me like insane amounts. Like by far the best choice I made at Sacred Heart, the best thing I could have ever gotten involved with. Like we were saying I met so many people. We met people we would have never met like before. We don't have classes together. We don't live in the same place. Like we don't have similar interests, but like there's one thing that brings us together, and like that really comes out when we're together. Like we all are a little bit similar in that way because we all decided we love Sacred Heart enough to join this program. We want to be here. Like we want to do this. So I think like getting close with people you never thought. I always remember like we had like different like senior admissions assistant training. So like I don't know if you were at the one in June, but Rob was like, here's money, like you guys go out to dinner, like bye, like send us off on our own. And like we didn't know each other at then, and I was like, oh my god, like I hope they like me, like I don't know these people, like I've seen them like from the program, but like we weren't like close. And he was like sending us off into like Fairfield to like get dinner together, but it ended up being so good, and we got so close, and like just like making those connections with people that like I would have never made. Like I'm like proud of myself like for being able to like open up to new people like that, because I don't think like my high school self would like allow myself to like be open to new people like in the way that I have been here, and like being able to talk to anyone and just really like appreciate like Sacred Heart and like do something with like the like passion I have for it, and like use it like to my advantage, like gain like good skills like for career, like all of that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I feel like I told you guys before, I keep it real on my tours. I tell them I was not a good student. And then as soon as I joined Student Ambassadors, it gave me something to look forward to and to really get good grades, you know what I mean? It really turned my entire college career around. Yeah. And I'm so thankful for it, for that. And it also made me such a well-rounded person because, as I was telling you guys before, like, we're all different, but we all have that similar core. So it really helped me being able to connect with people of different backgrounds, just made me all around just a more well-rounded person. Yeah.
And I think we all like really like, at least I know we do, like take pride in being like part of the program. Right. So like we're on campus, like anything we're doing, like you were saying, it helped you be a better student. Like I think same for me, and like it just like makes me want to be a better person in a way, because I'm like, I feel like I have this position, like I want to like do it right, like all of that. So
exactly. And you're preaching to people like this is what life at Sacred Heart looks like. But if you're not living that life, you know,
exactly.
So you actually want to live the life that you're telling to these people.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, having you guys on for the first aspect of, you know, this podcast is to, like, you guys have the information that you give out about this school, about academics, and you'll touch on different areas of, you know, student life and things you can get involved in socially. But I don't think a lot of people realize how social this position actually is. Because when you think about tour guides, like, yes, you guys, you know, all have the script that you go on and you talk about the school and you're talking about the academic part of it. And, oh, we have state of the art, you know, the podcasting room alone. Like, you know, like we have all of this stuff. But on the outside of it, you guys really gain from it as well, because you're getting experiences, you're making connections, and you're meeting new people. So even that alone, like outside of having, you know, your involvement, for some people it's their job, their work study, but you really get to create a community for yourself here. And for some people that is like their main community on campus.
Definitely.
So, you know, that's always fun. I've never gotten into student ambassadors, but I think that it would have been really fun to be able to like heighten my shoe facts, but also like heighten my public speaking skills as well. For sure. So it's definitely something that new students should look into, even existing students, if you go here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because it's never too late to get that shoe spirit. No, it really isn't. And then finally, for students that, you know, have either accepted the application to come here, or maybe are thinking of coming here, or just going to college in general, what type of advice would you provide them as high school seniors, thinking about maybe if you're speaking to your high school senior self, what would you tell them as they're going to start their new journey within their next 4 years, wherever, you know, they may end up?
I think I would tell them to take every moment and like appreciate where you are. Like we were talking about the application process and how it was so stressful, and like I know it's hard, like it was so hard for me to like not get overwhelmed and stressed, but like appreciate where you are in life, and like stop like wishing like things would just fast forward and speed up. Like, I can't wait to graduate, I can't wait to finish college and get a job and get a house, and it's like, oh, like, appreciate where so you are, and like everything goes by so fast. So I would say like just like really appreciate every moment, and like try not to like worry too much about things you can't control, because everything's going to work out. Like if you like do what's best for you and like make sure like you're doing what makes you happy, like it's gonna work out.
Right. Yeah, Juliana hit the nail on the head with that one because everyone talks about how fast it goes and you don't really realize until you're living it. Like I just yesterday applied to Sacred Heart and now I'm applying to grad school.
Right.
So it really goes so fast, and I really wish that I savored those moments, and even the stressful ones, I just savored them, did not wish them away because I would do anything to get those back.
Yes.
Absolutely. And they really do, like when they say time flies, like time flies.
It's
like
scary.
It's blink of an eye. Like
Crazy.
Yeah.
There's still like, I keep telling myself, you still have so much time. It's okay. But I'm going to like close my eyes and tomorrow I'm going to be at graduation and being like, how did I get
And
here?
like, I don't feel it. Like, I don't feel like an adult. Like,
No.
nothing
You used to look at college
changes.
grads and be like, wow, they're so
like-
old. But here I am. I'm like,
No.
No.
Yeah.
No. Do you guys have anything you want to add about the Student Ambassadors program or anything, about it within the Sacred Heart experience that other students would be?
I would say try it. I mean, even if maybe you have the slightest interest, definitely try it.
Yeah.
Even the most shy people will excel in this program. You're forced to be outgoing. So definitely give it a try as early as you can. So applications, you can't apply until the end of your freshman year. So when you're a sophomore, so you have to be here for at least a year to get some personal experience at the university. But definitely try it.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, head to Curtis Hall.
You might see one of us there.
You might see us, but you can get all your questions answered and like definitely look into it. But like if you're looking for a way to get involved and make friends and like have a community of people that like you can rely on, I would definitely recommend the ambassador program. Like you will change so much in 4 years, and I think it'll be a great decision. So I would say just try it, see if you like it.
Yeah. Very well said. So thank you guys for coming on and giving your insights
Thank you
about
for
student
having
ambassadors. Oh, stop it. But again, as I said, if you have any questions, you can always, if you're at Sacred Heart and you have questions, you can always head over to Curtis Hall and speak to any of the student ambassadors. They'd be more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you might have about, starting college or even coming to Sacred Heart as a whole. You can reach out to any of their social media accounts, or if you're watching this and you do have any questions, you can drop a comment on that little YouTube section down there and we'll try and get those questions answered for you.
Yep.
So yeah, until next time, thank you guys for stopping by and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.